Hello students, today I brought you some techniques that will help you answer not only TOEFL questions or TOEFL vocabulary questions, but also any question or any vocabulary question that you have to answer based on a reading passage. So I hope you find these techniques helpful. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments. The first technique is finding synonym or a synonym for the word that you're trying to figure out the meaning to. In the example that we have, the first state to establish compulsory education was Massachusetts, which made it required for students to attend school 12 weeks a year. In this case, I have to find the meaning to the word compulsory and then choose the best answer in a TOEFL question. How do I find the meaning to the word compulsory? In this case, I have to look for other words meaning the same as compulsory and hope to find a word that I know the meaning to, which is going to be a synonym to the word compulsory. First of all, you have to look for words that are on the same word or the same word form as compulsory. If you haven't noticed, the word compulsory is an adjective. At least, if you don't know if it's an adjective or not, you know it's not a noun, because most nouns will end with tion. You also know that it's not a verb, right? So try to guess the word form so it's easier for you to find the synonym for the word compulsory. So I'm going to avoid all nouns, all proper nouns, all verbs. And here I get to the word required. So it could be the one I'm looking for students to attend school 12 weeks a year. So I have the word required, which is also an adjective, and I have the word compulsory. Hopefully you know the meaning to the word required, because if you do, then you know the meaning to the word compulsory, right? Because the sentence means the first state to establish compulsory education was Massachusetts, which made it required. So, establishing compulsory education made it required, right? So in this case, the word compulsory, or from the word required, we can guess the meaning of the word compulsory, which means necessary or mandatory. Similarly, if you had the word necessary instead of the word required, or mandatory instead of the word required, you'd be able to also guess the meaning of compulsory from these two words. Another way to find the meaning of a word is through the examples that follow this word. In this case, we have a sentence here. Many gardeners use mulch, such as chopped leaves, grass clippings, or pine needles in order to stop the growth of unwanted weed. So in this case, I have the word mulch and I have no idea what the word mulch means, right? But from the examples, because there's such as right after the word mulch, so whatever comes after is going to be an example of mulch. And here, what do we have here? We have chopped leaves, right, from trees, grass clippings, I hope you know what grass means, or pine needles, and pine is a type of tree, right? So you can gather from these examples, or you can guess what these things are, or where they come from, right? Leaves, grass, and pine needles. What are these things, right? So from these examples, we can tell that the word mulch means materials from plants, because we have leaves, grass, and pine. All those are plants, right? So in the multiple choice, or in the choices that you have, one of the choices is going to be materials from plants. Another effective method to find the meaning of a word from the context or from the sentence is to find a word that means the opposite, right? So here we have to find the meaning of the word but. And in this case, I have the conjunction but. So whatever is going to come after the word but is not going to be the same in meaning to what comes before it. So the sentence reads, in the 1820s, the southern states supported improvements in the national transportation system, but, however, the northern states balked. I hope you can guess the meaning of the word balked by now. Yes, it means refused to support, because before the word but we have supported. Southern states supported. What happened with the northern states? They balked, meaning refused to support. Another advanced way is I can use word analysis to analyze the word itself and see if I can figure out the meaning of parts of this word, which is going to help me find the meaning of the word itself. In this case, we have a tiger standing in tall grass is almost invisible because of its stripe marking. You probably know the meaning of the word invisible, but if you don't, then you do an analysis on the word invisible. We're going to do that now. The prefix in means not, right? So the word visible means able to see. Here the word invisible is going to mean the opposite to visible. So in the middle of the sentence we have the root vis, which means see. So in vis, not see. And the suffix able means able to be. Able means able to be. Together we can tell from these parts, from these additions to the word, to the original word, we can tell that the meaning is not able to be seen. Not able to be seen. Alright? This is a more advanced way, but I think if you practice this and you learn the meanings of word roots, this will become easier for you to practice. Another way is to use the general context, whatever makes sense to you, if you understand the meaning of the sentence. And in this case, in the desert, vegetation is scanty, that is incapable of supporting any large human population. We know the meaning of desert, right? We know the meaning of vegetation, hopefully, or plants. How many plants do you see in the desert? Not many, right? So we can tell the meaning of the word scanty because in the desert there's not much vegetation. So you can guess that scanty means scarce or barely sufficient. You will see one of these options in the multiple choices that you have. This is another example, and here we have to find the meaning of the word cosmopolitan. This is a TOEFL example. So the word cosmopolitan here will mean either one of these four words here. How do I know? The word cosmopolitan, I'm going to first look for a synonym for the word cosmopolitan in the same sentence. Let's read the first sentence. Indeed, there are some cosmopolitan species. I don't really have any clues in this sentence, so I'm going to move to the next sentence. A good example is the housefly, found almost everywhere on Earth. So I think I do have a synonym here, or I do have an example, right? I do have an example that gives me a clue on what the word cosmopolitan means. Because the housefly is found everywhere else, or everywhere on Earth, which means worldwide. Not useful, well-known, or ancient. So I'm going to leave you guys with this exercise to practice what we learned today. Here you have a passage, you have a number of words, and you have to guess the meaning of these words from the passage without using any dictionary. The first one is done for you, which is drop. And here the word drop, we guess the meaning of the word drop from a synonym, which is harsh, uninteresting, or dull. You have to find or do the same thing for the words constant, dusk, rudimentary, faint, and refuse. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and please get in touch with me if you need any help or have any questions.